Welcome to the D-Files, the official podcast of Beefy, the multi-chain yield optimizer located on 19 chains with some of the most competitive yield in all of DeFi. If you're looking for yield and you got crypto, consider using Beefy. And with that being said, this is part 2 of episode 1. So if you haven't seen episode 1, click the link up here. It's a phenomenal episode where we dive into the early collapses of the banking system within the United States, from SVB to Signature and so much more. It's really fascinating. I highly recommend you watch it. And on this episode, we dive into some of the intricacies of Canto, crypto wallets, a multi-chain world, and everything that really bothers us in the crypto space. So I hope you really enjoyed this episode. Just a reminder, nothing here is financial advice or legal advice. So just do your own research to make your own decisions. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Cheers.
All right, let's talk about like fun stuff. Let's talk about
yes.
Is there anything fun to talk about anymore?
Yes.
This miserable world.
Yes, and yes. So, for those of you watching, we recently were at Quantum Miami. And we had an amazing time, as most people do when they visit Miami. And Weso, this gentleman right here, had an incredible discussion about cross-chain technology with the likes of Nine Realms from Thorchain, Polygon, and SushiSwap. So, Weso, tell us about that. Tell us about all the fun you had and the drinks you may have not consumed during this adventure.
Yeah, it was fun. So we went to Quantum Miami. The cross-chain panel was with Jared from the head chef, Sushi, which I think is just always so funny. It's like, you just name yourself like the head chef. And then Hamza from Polygon, and then Arandis from Thorchain. And so we're sort of talking about like, what does the future look like of cross-chain, and how are we going to continue to build as each individual products, and what do we sort of like see as products that are going to be built even outside of like our own ecosystems. So it's very interesting to hear somebody from like, Thorchain, who's building essentially a structure that can communicate with multiple different blockchains, whether EVM or non. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to bridge your Bitcoin to Ethereum, you could do that via Thorchain. It's pretty cool. Or I think they have the Doge chain capabilities and Litecoin and all these so all these non-EVM based blockchains are able to interact and be able to bridge assets to EVM chains. Mm-hmm. Which also enables protocols like Beefy to be able to let's say, exit to Bitcoin. So if you wanted at one point to farm stables on Beefy, right? I feel like now we have to quote tweet every time we talk about stables. Yeah,
right.
And you wanted to exit to Bitcoin. Essentially, at some level, Beefy will be able to facilitate that transaction through via Thorchain. So it's interesting to hear all things that we could possibly do with them. Then obviously, Hamza was talking about Polygon, all of the interoperability things that they're sort of working on. I know they have a ZK EVM sort of coming up. And then, when it comes to multi-chain products, Beefy's number one. But Sushi's right there and has been basically building a multi-chain product since, we were. And I think they're on 20 plus chains as well. They enable cross-chain swaps. They have their Digenbox and they have their, Trident router available on multiple different blockchains. So they're continuing to make the cross-chain product more accessible. And so then it was my perspective of, okay, now we have all of these great tools, right, and great capabilities, and we continue to build. But how can we make the user experience pretty seamless, where the world is not only cross-chain, but the world is also not knowing that you're even participating in cross-chain DeFi. Maybe that you're just a user that comes to Beefy and farming in different yield opportunities. You don't really care what blockchain they are, and we remove all the constraints of being able to move your funds to those different opportunities. So it was a pretty good panel. It was pretty interesting. It's something I feel very passionate about, something that we're continuing to try to iterate against at Beefy. So it was fun to talk with those guys.
No, I mean, I thought it was awesome. And I think it's incredible that chains are becoming less and less siloed over time, able to communicate information or financial information, a complex layer of financial information from one chain to another chain to another chain to another chain. I mean, it's incredibly exciting. And personally, I'm bullish on the multi-chain thesis. I think like it's not going to be one chain that rules them all. I think Bitcoin and Ethereum will serve their purposes, but I think we're going to see other interesting use cases come out, and seeing those use cases operate on multiple blockchains. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited about it. And after I heard the panel, I became extremely optimistic on the technology itself. I also want to mention to anyone that's watching this right now, I will actually link below the entire panel discussion for your educational research. So just throwing that out there.
Wait, you think a person directly after watching this long-winded video is going to go watch Weso talk for another hour?
That's true. Why would you want to do that?
There's some masochists out there.
I mean, lately it feels like you got to be a masochist to be in crypto a little bit.
I don't even know. Like, this is like whatever. It's just like turn your phone off the weekend. We've been through plenty of these things before. Whatever.
Yeah, people are like, "Oh, can you believe you lived through this?" And I'm like, "Have you not been here for the last year?"
Yeah, please.
I'm sorry. It's because I was going, like, every time I'm going to conferences, it seems to like spur some majors. We went to Permissionless, and UST sort of happened, and then we went to Token 2049 in London, and literally at the conference, FTX was sort of falling out.
Jesus.
Don't forget, those of you in the audience, consensus is April 26th.
Yeah, that is not financial advice.
You may not technically want to pull all your money out, stick it in silver bars and place it under your bed.
I mean, I don't know. I hope with this track record you have, Weso, that we're not going to see another crazy collapse of something in the middle of a conference. Like, it'd be nice.
No, I probably need to, I don't know. Is there something that'll cleanse me of all of the bad spirits?
I'm sure there's someone in California that can do some Reiki on you or something like that. I don't know.
Is that with the stone? Which one's with the stones? They put is that like something they're getting?
I don't know. Crystals, I guess. The energy of crystals. I mean, at this point, every rock I look at is kryptonite. So
what if, hold on, better idea. What if we create a scapegoat token?
Okay.
Right? Okay.
And
then once you purchase it, then you can cast all of your bad juju on it. And then you can burn it. And we could trick people into buying this. Make lots of money.
Okay. The scapegoat token's going to be like live, like literally in an hour.
Jesus. Don't do that, people. This is satire.
No. Oh, wait, you forgot the most important part of the scapegoat factor. You have to also come up with a protocol that can magically offer a stable 20% yield forever with no questions asked. And you have to have someone that's going to be almost like a godlike role in this entire ecosystem in order for this to work.
In 3 weeks, Gary's going to be making a video about the scapegoat token on TikTok.
All right. So now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, there's many different blockchains and new technology that have been coming out of the woodworks constantly, but the one that's really captured my attention recently, and also just for fun, Beefy is also involved in, so throwing that out there, is Canto chain. Since you two are up here, I was wondering if I could get your thoughts, or rather if the audience could get your thoughts on the Canto chain, the design, and where you think it's going.
It's an interesting idea, right? Essentially, they're saying, hey, like, there's no team, no founders, nothing, no grants. Just come and build on Canto.
All right.
We don't own anything. If there's no, multi-sig, if there's no, the Explorer sucks, then build a new one. Like, it's kind of like, hey, like, there's no responsibility for a team to push Canto forward. Canto's team is everybody that wants to participate in the ecosystem. So it is a different perspective than, like, you see a lot of the L2s and L1s that are sort of like launched, and they have like, hey, we have all this VC backing, we have this team in place, we have a CMO, we have a CEO. Canto's kind of like, nah, we don't have anything. You can come build it or you can't. Who cares? But like, if we don't have a tool that you like, you should probably build it and then give it to everybody else. It's like, hey, like come build public goods and then let everybody else use those things, and we could all create this thing together as like a community.
Yeah, Canto's the ultimate experiment in free market economics when it's devoid of incentive mechanisms, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they did like, so, I mean, when it comes like to incentives, they have a CSR, which is essentially I can like launch a contract, and for the gas costs, right? Those gas go to whatever the operators, and they go to like this little treasury. And then for my contract, for all the transactions that happen on it, I get a portion of that like treasury. So as a developer, you can go and launch different protocols, register in the CSR, and then earn a portion of those treasury inflows for having that contract like live. So it sort of does actually incentivize you to build there. To me, like specifically, they're obviously it's incentivizing transactional volume. So if you're another protocol that maybe is not like focused on high transaction throughput, then you're not going to get the same benefit as a protocol that does, like an AMM. But at the same time, it's like still like an opportunity for you to like go build something there. So a lot of like NFT projects and stuff like that have built and are making money in Canto from just even the CSR itself, not just their project. So
why, if I'm going to start up, would I choose to build on Canto instead of Polygon?
For the memes.
Or, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
because every once in a while, you just want to do something that just like why you got into crypto, right? Just for, hey.
What the hell happened to Jorge?
okay.
Oh my God, did you eat a blueberry?
No,
Willy Wonka's factory.
I'm experiencing some
I've seen
serious
this before.
technical difficulties.
I like this version of you.
He's gonna leave.
This is good.
He's gonna leave the podcast to go for his Blue Mana Group audition.
Oh my God! Don't be like I am gonna figure this out. I'm gonna make this work. Hey,
hey Jorge, why are you so blue?
It's been a rough week for all of us, huh?
Okay,
Don't do it, Jorge.
Lord have mercy. All I'm gonna say to that, Weso, is that obviously a future in comedy is something that was waiting for you, right? It was first Beefy,
Yes.
and then a stand-up comedy career with the likes of Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Joe Rogan.
Oh Jesus.
Oh my God!
No, we're cutting off. Now
You
we're
guys remember
cutting
News
off
Radio?
the
What a great show.
I suppose
Rails.
you're living a truly beefy lifestyle right now.
Did you see though? I'm going to be judging a hackathon in for Canto.
The hell do you know about hacking?
Dive into that
0.
while I fix this.
So, so it'll be me, a glass of lemonade, and then a Toyota Sienna with a bunch of garbage bags on top of it. So we will be the brightest minds that come together and judge whether or not something that you're building makes completely logical sense. So
That's right, everyone. Get out there and build on Canto. There might not be money in it, but you'll have some laughs.
But
all right, well,
okay.
But Canto's been fun. There's a really like it's a fun ecosystem developing. Everybody is very excited. It's like exactly like why some people got into crypto. It's pretty fun.
No, and actually what I think is really interesting about the structure that you're describing is essentially this is a community built chain. So like I find that really fascinating. So it'll only be as successful as people are willing to build. So I mean I would find that very interesting. Like it definitely sounds a bit like a gamble. Certainly like if you have to devote time and energy. I mean, for those of you watching, I just make videos. I'm not a programmer like Weso. And if you have to devote a lot of time and energy into that, it'll be fascinating to see how well these CSRs pay, over time, and just see also how the rest of the world is going to react. It's like, I always love the idea of DAOs, like this idea of decentralized governance. And it's going to be interesting to see how an entire chain and an entire network built on a completely decentralized governance structure works. Like when I learned about Canto, I didn't know any single name of like a single coder or programmer who built the chain. Like I just heard about it and then looked into it and was kind of, fascinated with the tech. We'll see where it goes.
I love the idea of public, like continuing to build public goods. So much so that I believe if your project is not open source, you're not Web3. So if you're sitting there saying, I have to have all my code, private in a private repo, I'm not going to verify my contracts because I don't want to give competitive edge, you're a Web2 company faking it in Web3.
All right, you just transitioned to the next topic about pet peeves in crypto.
Okay, there you go.
So...
It's perfect. It's like one of the things that pisses me off the most.
All right, so we'll go down the line. I guess. All right, TBC, you first because you are now a talking banana. You have transcended reality itself.
I don't even know what we talked about last time. Number one pet peeve: if I have to connect my wallet to your stupid site, I'm not going to use it. I don't care what your DApp is. I don't care how good you are. But if I can't view what is on your site, your DApp, whatever you want to call it,
that's trash. Get better.
Without connecting, forget it. Dude, fix your stuff because I'm not using it, and no one else should. You should. It's like going into a store and they're like, here, run your credit card before you purchase anything or something. Not doing it. I'm too old to be, to me it's sketchy. It's risky. I don't trust it. Forget it.
It's just
Trash.
bad. It's just bad technical infrastructure. Like
bad UI, man. What's the matter with you?
Essentially just copied somebody else's front end and have no idea how to fix that and haven't fixed it yet. So, I mean, it's like literally just, you should be able to like show all yields, the value in different LPs and be able to I don't know, see what a swap would look like without having to connect your wallet. There's no reason you can't do that. So those sites that make you force connect in order to do anything, that needs to stop.
Yeah, stop using it. That's financial advice. Stop. Make them fix their shit.
Or safety advice. Okay, safety advice. And I would also like to add on to that. It's also quite concerning that there's a few, there's still some dApps that are readily getting some TVL or maintaining TVL or whatever the case may be without, having to show any of the products without connecting first. I think that just shows we still have a ways to go in some fashion.
Yeah.
What's your pet peeve, Weso?
Mine is when you tell me that, basically I say, hey, you need to time lock your contracts because you can rug me of all my money. And they go, but convenience, bro. What if we need to react quick? Our 2 or 3 multi-sig needs to be able to do it. So no, there's no excuse in the whole world that you're going to convince me that if you have centralized or privileged control over my funds, over user funds, that you shouldn't have your stuff time locked. So don't try it. I'm sick of protocols trying to rationalize bad operational security. Fix yourself.
Hold your protocols accountable for their actions.
Yes.
Man. Figure out if they got a time lock. Figure out if they got SIGs. Complain to them all day, every day until they fix it.
If they can,
or just don't.
If they can either touch your funds so they can take it out of your account or something like that, or they can just dump massive amounts of token, either by minting it or taking their token supply that they have and completely erode the value, then obviously they need time locks in place. And we should all be watching them. So on Beefy, you can actually actively see everybody who's a partner protocol, all their time lock actions. That way we can all make the judgment on whether or not they're being malicious or not. And that's what we're all about, right? Mm-hmm. Transparency.
100%. I second that. Although products like Beefy and some of the people we partner with as well, are making real strides in being transparent. That's basically my pet peeve. There's way too many protocols that do not divulge all the information, or they say something and they're doing something else, and another thing that I get really annoyed about too, that happens all the time, and we're in a new space, so I get it, And even though I love Vitalik, I'm going to blame him for this. Since Vitalik is like such a huge character, there's like chains and protocols that also try to create these huge personas around them to create this level of confidence. And that's like not what this space is about.
Oh. Are you talking about Hex?
No, like, you know, like like the Daniel Sesta, for example. I went to Decentral Miami, right? And I'll admit, I'll say it here, I got rugged by, not for a huge sum of money, but I got rugged by Wonderland, you know. And I'm gonna let you know, because I'm
your funds are safe with Sifu.
Yeah, apparently they were Sefu. And look, what I want to say is that product wouldn't have done half as well if it didn't have a face to connect to the product itself. And when I was at Decentral, I mean, I'm not going to drop names, but I spoke to pretty popular people within the space, and they were like, "Oh yeah, good for you, man. Daniel Sesta's a genius. Daniel Sesta's a genius. Do Kwon's a genius." And it's like, we shouldn't be acting is because these people are trustworthy. We should be acting because the protocols work well, because they have a track record, because it's a good product. That's what crypto's about. It's about being in a permissionless and trustless environment. We shouldn't be using these things because we trust a single person. You know, anyways, that's a pet peeve of mine. I'm tired of these like
I don't
ideologues.
trust anybody. I don't trust anybody.
That's
Everybody
true. I could verify how many, I'm going to say hundreds and hundreds of chats I have seen Weso call people out. People you know, or you've seen names of. I've seen Weso yell at chains, all right? Like, just trust me, man. Like, when it comes, you don't have to, no, don't trust me. Verify. Wait, how do you do it? Anyway, Weso is, he yells at everybody.
I don't trust.
No doubt. Everybody's
a single person.
sketchy.
I only trust the code, what I can read.
Absolutely. Agreed.
So everybody needs to learn to read code. So we're gonna start.
Should I
start having?
Should I do like
the
easy?
Series. Weso teaches me.
Yeah, easy like code lessons, like, or are they just like little things that I look for, like little, like you don't need to.
I don't know how to
know the logic, right? Like you don't. But there's like little things you can look for that can help protect you.
We need to know what to watch out for. We need to know those secret, like the code that says steal all tokens.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we need to know, right?
Yeah.
Teach that to me and show me where to find it, because in the next episode, of course, we'll do shorts.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, we should do shorts on that. I love that idea. I'll make a bunch of YouTube shorts about those little bits of code. That would be awesome, actually. Great idea, TBC. You're a marketing genius. How do you feel?
Is anybody really?
Yes.
Because people are bored. They don't want to look at little shirts about code.
Shut up. I'm gonna throw in some inappropriate jokes in the middle.
Okay, perfect.
Make sure people are paying attention.
That'll be the draw.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have
So-
the most banana-shaped phallic host in TBC to
Yes,
give
thank
jokes
you very much.
about code.
Okay, wait. Legit question here. Like, what personality should we get to represent the scapegoat token?
What?
Who should we get to sell it?
I think if just because we're on YouTube, we should pick someone like Ty Lopez that says he reads a book every single day, and for some reason lives in a mansion, and we have no idea how he made money in the first place. Yeah, like pick someone like that.
Wait,
is that the guy with like the Lambos in the garage or whatever?
I don't even know who that is. Who's Ty Lopez?
Wasn't he the guy that you couldn't escape?
Yeah,
the
that
commercial?
fucking stupid ad on
like
that was playing forever. That guy. Apparently, by the way,
like he videotapes himself in his garage with like the Lambos in the background. He's
I'm
like,
rich. You could
Oh.
be rich too.
Seems like a cool guy.
Ooh, yeah, my camera's not working anymore, guys. Ugh. God dang it. Oh well.
You blew again?
Yeah, you know that USDP peg. The peg is hit me hard. That's what happened. So I mean, I guess now the next thing we need to talk about. Where's my thing? Technology, folks. So the next thing I wanted to dive into, I think it's really important that we touch on this subject, especially with a lot of exploits that have been happening. You know, the government cracking down on crypto exchanges as well. I think it's important to talk about self-custody. Like, I think that's, even though, like, for guys like us that readily use crypto frequently, I still think there's a lot of people that are leaving their stuff on exchanges or on a hot wallet or just don't know how to protect their crypto. Do you have a message to say to those guys?
Yeah, Weso, where should I put my tokens right now?
I'm like, a ledger, man. And probably, I was thinking about that. We actually talked about this the other day. What if, okay, you create a multi-sig wallet. You have 3 signers. It has to be a 3 of 3 signer. All 3 hardware wallet signers. And you just bury them in different places throughout the country.
Well, the problem with that is when USDC collapses, you got to do a lot of traveling.
Why you have USDC?
You-
If you have USDC inside your ledger, that's basically not even like, that's still having your money in a bank,
Okay.
bro.
You're right. Well, okay.
Oh, it's on a ledger. No, it's in a bank.
What if, okay, you know what? This sounds like the plot of a phenomenal, like, national treasure film, like with Nicolas
I
Cage.
know.
It like takes place
I
20
know.
years in the future, like 2040. And he's like in a wheelchair at this point, I guess, and like kind of losing his mind. He's like, I think I know a wallet that has 500 Bitcoin, and at that time, $200 billion worth of cash. And there might be 3 multi-sigs needed, scattered throughout the United States and secretive locations. You know, that might be a movie I'd like to watch. Geriatric,
Yeah.
almost head in a jar, like Futurama version of Nicolas Cage.
This sounds like the potential to have a modern Chaucer story in it, right? We got 3 guys, they're all on the same multi-sig. They end up killing each other.
This actually is
write that
anybody from Hollywood watching? Because this is some really good plot
No, of
points.
course not.
Now, in all seriousness, all of my money is on a ledger in a coffee can buried in my backyard. So,
Well, you shouldn't say, like, well, you know, where in the backyard, or that it's in a backyard.
Wait, which ledger should I buy?
What do you guys think of the new ledger?
I don't know. Actually,
Recommendation for-
which one? The one that you can't get? The Stacks one?
Can I get what's up with that? What about the new 1-inch wallet? Did you
What
guys
about
see that? Their hard wallet.
They have a
You can
hard
check it
wallet?
out. Yeah. What's the matter
I
with
didn't
you
know they had a
people?
hard wallet. This is the first I've heard
Yeah.
about it. Maybe you should do their marketing.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they're
I know
promoting the wrong.
I know that
stupid
they have the app.
I hear it. Yeah, dude. They got a hard wallet coming out somewhere, which looks a lot like the Stack thing. I thought.
No. I don't know. I've had my
Where's it at?
Nano S for like ever, and it's always worked. So I actually have
It's like
I have a Nano X too, but I haven't played around with it as
HW.1inch.io.
much.
I'm looking for this hard wallet you're talking about.
Here, I'll give you the link. I'll post the link
Okay,
for you.
perfect.
Hold on a second.
Oh, is this it?
Wait.
Hardware wallet? HW?
I don't know.
Yeah, is that it?
1inch.io. Yeah.
Wow, that's
it.
Oh, okay. Cool. I mean, we'll see. I think it's good. I'm a big believer of the free market, so I think it's good that there's competition out there for Ledger, you know. So
This is interesting because you have to essentially get into a market of like going back into like a production market, right? So like having to get somebody to produce these and then working with contracts, and I mean that's definitely different than just being a DEX aggregator.
that's actually pretty cool. I mean, this is not an endorsement, but pretty neat.
Yeah, 1inch. If you're paying attention, you were
Not a sponsor of the show. Just throwing it out there.
Yet.
That's pretty. It looks pretty slick.
Yeah, it does. It does. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't trust technology.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like, I don't
I'm
know
glad you're in this
how
industry.
quickly this will be out. Right. Like how quickly are these things going to be outdated? Right. I don't know. What happens if
I've
I
had
drop my
my
screen?
I've had my Nano S since 2017. Works 100%. So
What's going on here? My lime is frozen.
And now you're back.
Wait, oh, maybe it's. Oh, all right, there we go. All right. No, I'm not. Oh well. Anyway, so yeah, get Should I still use MetaMask?
no,
Yeah.
Oh God.
no. Actually, the problem is that like there's not like a one size fits all solution to replacing MetaMask. So I like Frame. Frame's great, but there's certain apps where it just doesn't connect or doesn't work, and that's like it does flip back to MetaMask. So for I'd say even a more frequent user, it's kind of a pain, right? So until somebody comes out as like an actual decent replacement and connects with most applications, you still have to sort of like use MetaMask sometimes. It's just easier to get things done. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, we should avoid using it. I'm trying to avoid using it.
Yeah, I still use MetaMask for a couple things, but I really like the XDeFi wallet. That's my personal favorite, just because it's like it shows all the chains on like one page. It's basically a wallet that was designed for Thorchain, but you could basically use it for like regular stuff too. So I really enjoy it.
Could we go back to talking about some of the things that we were like angry about? Pet peeves? Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that I have to switch chains or different RPCs for different chains every single time while I do
Annoying.
something is so annoying. Why is my wallet just not doing that automatically for me?
I guess that's a shout out to XDeFi. Thanks for that. But yeah, I mean, that is one of like the biggest headaches, especially when you're bridging an asset from one chain to another chain and you're using the same wallet. That's pretty damn annoying, but it is what it is, I guess. Or if you're a developer and you're making a wallet and you're watching this, can you fix that or make a wallet that does that?
Yeah, can you just make a wallet that doesn't suck?
That's what we're looking for.
That's
what I'm here for. Great.
And the
ideas.
bar's pretty low.
Yes.
and a wallet that
Like,
doesn't
why-
send your information
like,
out
why-
there, because apparently MetaMask
yeah.
does that. That's a huge problem. Like,
Don't store my information and just not suck.
Can I have a wallet that auto loads the tokens I have, right? Instead of just me having to add contracts all the time.
I'm amazed that it doesn't already do that, to be honest, because it just needs like actually just use Beefy's address book. We have most of the tokens that are people wanted to use even on the chains anyways. So just pull in Beefy's address book via an NPM package, do a multi-call for every balance for those users, and just see whether or not they have tokens, and then display them. Actually, just make it open source,
Okay,
and we'll just add in, like, have people add images. Be good. Then nobody has to add it themselves.
Okay, so can you teach me that in a short sometime this week?
it's a good. Yeah, I mean, we should definitely shoot that as a short. I think this is a good point to. I think we should do like a little ending, like say, hey, if you're dealing with something, with all this stuff going on, if you're affected, that we're wishing you the best, and then transition to an end. Does that sound good?
Why? It's crypto. This shit happens every single week in crypto.
This is just another miserable week.
This is just FTX and USD all over again.
Whatever, man. We're all just sitting around waiting for the next bull run that'll never happen. So.
Next it'll be like something happens to Binance, or like who knows what the next catalyst or black swan is.
Yes, which will obviously happen on April 26th. Mark your
I'm going to get my
calendars.
Reiki.
Why in the 26th? Why not 420? Leave 420 alone.
Because I'm going to be at a convention.
It's gonna be at the convention. Come on, you have to edit that out now. All right. Well, this has been educationally boring. I think we came up with some brilliant ideas. All those are patent pending, so don't anyone try stealing it. I will have my SEC lawyers come after you.
I don't know how effective they are, but we'll We'll have to wait and see.
1 inch, if you're listening, we'll do some commercials. Hook us up.
Hook a brother up, or brothers, rather. Hook us up. Let us know. Thanks so much for watching this episode of the D-Files. We really do appreciate it. Remember, this is part 2 of episode 1, so we highly recommend you check out that video if you still haven't. And with that being said, if you like and subscribe, it helps us build our channel so we can get more content out there. And if you share this, well, that's a plus too. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to you watching our next episode. Anyways, cheers.